People say to thee, have mercy, have mercy.
Hey, this is the Good, the Bad, and the Wrestling, a Tony James podcast. And on this episode, you guessed it, it's the third installment of the Indie exclusive, the July 15th, what I call the closest thing you can get to a super indie show. There were some great indie wrestlers on this card, and we've already covered a couple of them in the episode 1 and episode 2, and this is the big one. This is where the big bangers are hitting. The Nordic Nightmare Bjorn is taking on the Russian Invasion Victor Vanko. This is a great match. Indie match, pro match. This is pro wrestling. You're going to take a look at it. You're going to take the word to the streets. You're going to spread the word. The Good, the Bad, and the Wrestling, a Tony James podcast. Indie exclusive part 3. Let's get to work. If you're looking for top-of-the-line electronics, quality, service delivery, all-around RC experience, you need to go to Three Brothers RC. That is threebrothersrc.com. You can see them on Facebook, and they also have a Three Brothers RC fan page. They have everything from anti-foam to yellow jackets to black jackets. They have any type of electronic need, an RC product need that you need, and you need it now. So go visit Three Brothers RC. Hey, this is the Good, the Bad, and the Wrestling, a Tony James podcast. And as always, the bells of justice are ringing, and I just want to welcome everybody to the podcast. And as always, it is sponsored. This particular episode is sponsored by Three Brothers RC. I'm telling you, if you get into RCs, and this is an addictive sport, once you get one, you're going to want to soup it up. You're going to want to trick it out. You're going to do everything. You want to get the highest quality parts, and there's only one place to go, and that's Three Brothers RC. I'm telling you right now, you can find them on Facebook. There's a Three Brothers RC fan page. This is where you want to go to upgrade, to replace, to do what you need to do with your RC. So I want you to check them out, Three Brothers RC. And as always, over here at the Good, the Bad, and the Wrestling, a Tony James podcast, you can find us at Spotify. Click follow. You can always find us here on YouTube. Click subscribe. And if you want to check out Outlaw Tony James and just see if this guy puts his money where his mouth is, you better believe he does. You can find him on YouTube at Outlaw Tony James, Facebook at Outlaw Tony James, and Instagram at Outlaw Tony James. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. I'm more about pushing other guys than myself, but I will tell you, some people say, hey, who's this guy talking about? Well, come on in the ring and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But today it's about our third installment, episode 3 of the Indie exclusive. I'm really excited about this one. These are the big boys. And just because I say big boys doesn't mean they can't run with the rest of the pack. But these are the guys at the top of the mountain, if you will, Pelek, if you will. And I'm talking about the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn and the Russian Invasion Victor Vanko. So just a little bit, if you've caught any of my previous podcasts, we actually had Bjorn on some time ago. It's in the vault there if you want to check him out. And then we brought him back and we did a triple threat podcast where we invited Jimmy Fahrenheit and we talked about our influences as well. Bjorn is a great up-and-comer. Now, he's still, everybody has, you can always learn and you can always improve, and he knows that. And that's the one thing I like about Bjorn. He is always willing to adapt, change, and go with the flow. The other thing I like about Bjorn is his ability, and this is what he's starting to work on because I can see it. He's starting to gain that ability with the crowd where he can read the crowd. It's one thing to go out there and do a shtick and do what you think gets over or do what you want to do, as in get my stuff in. But there's a very, oh man, a unique quality to have patience, to have a certain pace, and to read the crowd. And I believe that Bjorn is starting to come into his own. Pardon me. He coming into his own when he's in the ring. So that's what I like about Bjorn when it comes to this. Now, I've always likened Bjorn to Bam Bam Bigelow in the fact that he is this mass of a man, very intimidating. He's got this when he walks in a room, you know it's Bjorn, right? But he's not stuck to where he can only do certain things. He's also like a version of Earthquake, John Tentna. He's fast, he's nimble. He does things that catch you off guard, like, oh crap, I didn't know big men could do that. I think he's a crossbreed between John Tentna and Bam Bam Bigelow, and I just think that Bjorn has this quality about him where, once again, he knows when to shift gears and when to do what he needs to do. As a big man, knowing he can do that, he can be a Bam Bam Bigelow, he can be a John Tentna, or he can be a King Kong Bundy, whatever he needs to be. That just is so marketable and in ring style, knowing that I can wrestle. If the guy can't adapt to me, I can adapt to him, and we're going to get the best out of this match. I'm telling you, that is a quality that's hard to find. So the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn coming up is a great guy to take a look at. Take a look at this man. Check him out. Go over to pwaohio.com on YouTube, on Facebook. That's where you're going to get the majority of the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn content. If you're looking to connect with Bjorn, once again, the best way to do it is through the pwaohio.com website, YouTube page, and Facebook page, and Instagram. And it's also going to a live event. If you can get him at the right time, you can get a picture with him. You can kind of get with him and figure out if he's got a different type of social media. But as of right now, the best way to get a hold of Bjorn and check out his content is through those areas I told you to do. So he's the first half. The second half is the Russian invasion. And here's another guy that we've talked about here on the show. I'm telling this guy is put together. I mean, he is put together. He's unique. He's a man of his own. The size, he's a big man. But yet, like Bjorn, the guy can move. He's agile. He knows what he's doing. Once again, he has a lot of time in the ring where Bjorn's coming up and learning the craft and honing his craft and trying to go to the next level by reading the fans. This guy's there, has done that, fixed it, worked on it, tweaked it, and he's doing it again. He's been around the block enough times. He knows where to park, if you know what I'm saying. And so, once again, that's the quality I like about this guy. You know that when he's in the ring, you're going to get what you need to get, and he's going to do what he needs to do. Total professional, and, you know, he's a Russian. So you got to deal with that. You don't have to like him, but he's here to stay. I'm just telling you right now, right? You don't have to like him because he's a Russian. You don't have to like him because he's irritating. You don't have to like him because you can't stand him. But you got to give the guy props. I'm telling you that. And you can find Victor Vanko on his Facebook page. I would say that's the best place to follow Victor Vanko on Facebook. You're going to get routed to everything he does through that Facebook page. He's worked a few times in the PWA. He is not a PWA roster member. However, he's had a match with Sam Houston. I've had the respectful pleasure to get in the ring with him in a tag match. I can tell you this. When he throws a forearm, when he throws a boot, anything connected to his leg, I'm telling you right now, he's throwing it. I've had to take a week off just to understand what part of the world I was on. So, and I mean that in the most respectful way. The guy's not dangerous. The guy's not, the guy's coming to play. You know, he isn't going to fly over from Russia just to sit around and play cards. So this guy knows how to throttle it. He's going to be in Pittsburgh, Mass on September 16th. for Extreme Wrestling Alliance. He's got something going on there. This guy is a workaholic, and he's wrestled some of the best. Go on YouTube, look up Victor Vanko versus the Powers of Pain. Look up Victor Vanko and Aldenoff versus the Patriot. And I told you what his partner was when we talked about Aldenoff in the first episode. He's wrestled a lot of post WWE talent. He continues to work where he needs to work. In this show coming up, I just talked about, or I should say that just happened right before we wrestled in the PWA on July 15th. He wrestled Just Incredible in a 6-man with the Russian invasion. Victor Vanko is the working man's wrestler. He would be the equivalent of James Brown. He's the hardest working man in pro wrestling. I'm just going to tip my hat to the man. He knows what's going down. And like I said, complete professional. I watch his matches, and I always learn something. So shout out to Victor Vanko there, and shout out to the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn. So these two tangled on July 15th at the PWA Arena. Once again, I want to thank the PWA for allowing us to use this footage. It's very rare when you have a company that sticks to mostly roster members, starting to bring in non-roster members, and the quality and the high level of talent that they bring in to have. I can't believe we had 3 to 4 matches on the card that had these guys in it. And these are the same guys that the committee here at Good, Bad, and the Wrestling are viewing. We've got about 20 to 25 independent wrestlers that scan from California all the way to the UK, and they're ranking them, and we're doing exclusives on them because we've got a big project coming up. And once again, we want to utilize and recognize the indie talent. And so we talked about Igor Aldenoff when he wrestled Matt Taylor, which are 2 great talents. We talked about Handsome Nick Hamrick wrestling Sam Houston. Sam Houston, right? But Handsome Nick Hamrick, once again, great talent. Now we're talking about the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn. He's our first true PWA roster member. And of course, like I said, the Russian invasion, Victor Vanko. So there's a committee that goes through these guys, and we sit down and we review their footage. We look at wins and losses, but we just look at the overall reaction of the crowd, feedback from the fans. And then it's always a privilege when I get a chance to be on the same card as them or even wrestle them to get more insight. Not that I'm the end all be all. I'm not saying that. But you do have a wider perspective when you've had a one-on-one or a tag team experience with these guys because it's harder than it looks. It's not what you think it is. And at the end of the day, there's more things about indie wrestling that are good than that are bad. So with that being said, I want to thank my sponsor once again, Three Brothers RC, the only place to go for RC products. And I want to thank the PWA, the Premier Wrestling Alliance out of Lancaster, Ohio. I've done plenty of wrestling for them. I love the company. I dig them. Like I said, I dig the fan base. And I always enjoy coming up from Texas when I get a chance to wrestle for that company. And now I'm getting to cross paths with some great indie wrestlers that I can hope that I get to wrestle in the future, continue to wrestle with in the future, and that here in the Good and the Bad and the Wrestling, we can create what we're getting ready to do, our big project that's coming up soon that I can't wait to reveal, that we can kind of let you in on some inside information on where we're going with all these matches. But with that being said, this is Indie Exclusive Episode 3, the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn versus the Russian Invasion, Victor Vanko. Hey, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. God is good, and what do you say we get to the match?
Friends, I was informed by Mr. Vanko that he feels the response, while his comrade appeared earlier, was not sufficient. So he asked once again for your undivided attention as the Russian national anthem is played.